Hi, this is Vicki from Grandma B's Junk Journal. Thanks for stopping by my channel. Today I want to share a few things that I collected along the way of a little autumn trip that my husband and I took last week to the Upper Peninsula of Michigan. And at the end of this, I'm going to share a few pictures that I took along the way. Photography is one of my passions and hobbies, and so if you haven't been to the Upper Peninsula of Michigan, I'm going to give you a little glimpse of what we seen last week. So anyways, along the way, we visited so many thrift stores and antique shops, just about everyone that we came across in our travels. And I've been looking for some vintage or antique books that have these wonderful covers on them. I was able to find 4 of them that I could afford to purchase. And these I'm excited to share with you. I'm going to be turning them into authentic antique and vintage journals in the near future. And so I just wanted to share these. And I was really focusing on the front cover. I didn't necessarily care what the inside looked like. I just wanted the front cover to be interesting and hoping that I could keep the entire cover intact and just add signatures. And I believe this one fits the bill. It is in a little bit of rough shape. However, I think with a little bit of cleaning up, I think it's going to be perfect. This one is 1908. So I think with some beautiful vintage lace and embellishments and things, I think this is going to be a beautiful junk journal. So I'm really excited about that. I will definitely use some of the pages and use some for embellishments, but then I will just stuff it with lots of old things. So I'm excited about that. So 1908 on that one. This one I absolutely love. The Victorian people there. You know, this one is in bad shape, but that's okay. I really just needed, the cover because I'm going to take it apart anyways. So let's see if I can look at that. Look at that image. Isn't that beautiful? And there's a tissue page that goes, or vellum, it goes right over top of it to protect it. This one is 1909. And there will be a few pictures in here that I'll be able to salvage to include in the junk journal. But I love them. I love them. So this is going to be a lot of fun to create. This red one I love so much. This one is in very good shape. And let's see. Again, you know, this beautiful image with this tissue paper to protect that. And this is a 1909 book. So all of them over 100 years old. And there's a few images. There's not a lot of images in these books, but there are a few that's going to add a little bit of interest, extra interest to the junk journal. So I'm excited to put this together. All right, and then the last one, I love the images of these Victorian ladies. The cover's in very good shape. And let's see if I can find the date on this one. This is a 1910. So all are well over 100 years old. So these are going to make some great journals. This one, yeah, I have Bobbsey twins in my stash on my bookshelves. I just love these. Do not need another one for sure, but I have made journals from these and I really love them. And so when I see one that I can afford, I usually snatch it up in hopes that I will be able to put together a journal. 1943 is the date that we have on that. So this will be a great one that I will end up turning into a journal. I love the cover on these with that image. So those are always fun to do. Love that. I did find this one, and definitely do not need any more of these kind of books. I've got so many on my shelf. However, when I run across these kind of books at a very good price, I always get, because if I don't turn them into journals, I will use the pages in signatures, or I will cut the images out and create embellishments, because these vintage images are just adorable. I love the way they look. I love adding the pages right into signatures. It just gives a lot of character. They're just super adorable. So if you run across these books in your travels, and maybe you're not in the, have any intention of creating journals with them, just buy them for the images and the pages, because they're really wonderful to use. And then I found this box of vintage stationery. It was $1.50 for this box, and the box alone is beautiful. I mean, I could just cut the box up and use it, as a big, some big pockets, which good chance I will do that. But there was some beautiful stationery that I will be able to use in my new antique journals or vintage journals that I'm starting to create. So these are really beautiful to use in those old journals as well. And they also came with some envelopes, so I'm excited to use those. So always keep your eye out for stationery. They're wonderful to use in journals as writing spots, photo spots. Fold them in half, use them as pages. So this one I think was at St. Vincent de Paul. I'm thinking, because we visited a lot of those stores, and like I said, it was $1.50 for the box, and that was a really good buy. And then the last couple things I wanted to share, these were at an antique store in the Upper Peninsula where we were, and it was a beautiful store. And I have one of these books that is the bird book, and I use those a lot for tags. I also use them as pages in the signature. But when I seen these, I snatched them because I've never seen these two particular books. It's from the same company or line, but they will be great to use for making ephemera, it's the perfect size for, creating tags, pockets. So I was really excited. I did pay up a little bit. I typically wouldn't have spent as much as I did on these, but there's so many pages. I mean, 150, 60 pages. So that's a lot of pockets, ephemeras, tags. And then the same with the tree book. These, again, will be great for all of those same things. Beautiful images, vivid colors. So I was really excited to find both of these at the antique store. So keep your eye out for these when you're out thrifting, because I typically would have probably overlooked these in the past, not thinking. But when I started using my bird book, I just love it. It's just the perfect size. These are 1956 books. So they're vintage, and I will definitely be able to use those in my new books. Now, I'm going to add, like I said in the beginning, I'm going to add some photos in case you want to stick around for another minute just to see some of the beautiful fall pictures that I took up in the Upper Peninsula of beautiful Michigan. Thank you guys for tuning in today, and keep a watch out when you're out thrifting. Look for those treasures. They are usually hidden. Have a wonderful day. Bye-bye.